Hi, so we're going to be learning about the explorers during this video. So first of all, we're going to be talking a little bit about why the reason for exploration is. So our standard that we're going to be covering is going to be examining accounts of early European explorations of North America. We're going to include water routes, reasons for the exploration, and then most importantly, the impact that it had. So to get us started, we're going to read a little bit from our social studies textbook, and I screenshotted it here so we don't have to go over there to see what we've got going here. So during the 1400s, European explorers traveled east to Asia by land and sea. There, they found exotic spices, fabrics, and jewels. The trip to Asia was very, very long and dangerous and very expensive. Some people thought that it might be faster to get to Asia by traveling west across the Atlantic. In this unit, we're going to be learning about the explorers who headed west and the results of their journey. As we read, we're going to be thinking about the actions that the Europeans affected the land and people of both the Americas and Europe. So here's some of our essential questions that we're going to be answering throughout this unit. Why do people leave their country to go explore? Do people still explore? And or do they leave their countries today? And if so, why do people want to leave their countries? So thinking about this list, why would they want to explore? Here are some of the major reasons. A lot of people wonder about what else was out in the world. So that was one reason that people go to explore. Wealth. There's many people who explored in order to find their own fortune. So if they weren't succeeding in their country, they'll move to another country to kind of find some more of that wealth. Fame. Some people just do it for the fame, right? So there were some people out there that just they wanted to be famous, they wanted to claim land as their own. Some of them had that national pride. So if they were sailing from a specific country, and all of our explorers were going to be learning what country they sailed for, they just had that national pride that they wanted to help be a part of their country to move it forward and to grow a little bit more. Another reason is religion. Some explorers went on pilgrimages to spread Christianity. Foreign goods. Some people wanted to bring back spices that they couldn't find in their own country. And then some of them were just simply looking for better trade routes. So let's learn about some of these explorers. So each day this week and into next week, we're going to be learning about a new explorer. We are going to be completing a graphic organizer over the famous explorers that discovered or rediscovered, right? Because these lands had already belonged to somebody, which is what we learned prior to Christmas break, winter break. And they explored certain parts of the United States. So we're going to be watching videos and articles. Let me move me up here. That are going to be really similar to what we did with the natives. So if you remember before winter break, we looked at different articles and we watched a video and then you filled out the graphic organizer. This is going to be like the same, right? We're just going to be doing it with explorers. And instead of having you read in your textbook, because the textbook didn't provide a lot of information at all about the explorers, we're going to be getting on Canvas. So let's get started. We're going to do the first one together, which is going to be over the Vikings. Now, you are going to be filling this out with just the Vikings, right? And then what I'm mostly looking for are these topics. What year did they explore? What was their reason for exploration? What country did they sail for? And what impact did the exploration have? Now, to be honest, out of all of these questions, this last one is probably the hardest one. But if you remember from the standard that I showed at the beginning of the slideshow, this is what we're assessing on. So you really have to take a look at, because they sailed to, this area, or they rediscovered this area, what impact did it have on their country, right? So because they sailed, what came of it, right? Also, another thing that you might be really surprised with, the year they explored, back then, people didn't document things like they do today. So today, everything is documented down to the second, right? That wasn't the same. So there might be some dates that are a little bit conflicting, where, for example, it might say anytime between 1400 and 1500. That's okay, right? You're not going to have a specific year in some of these cases, because sometimes they didn't know. They just kind of went off of what some people were documenting perhaps in their. So we're going to complete the Vikings together first. And again, these are the things that we're going to be looking for. What year did they explore? What was their reason for exploration? What country did they sail for? And what impact did the exploration have? So I'm going to show you how you're going to be getting this completed. So first of all, you're going to find all of the information housed in our modules. So I'm going to head to our modules. And the first one, like I said, we're going to do is the Vikings. So the first one here is a Newsela article. So I'm going to pull it up. And then as I'm reading, I'm going to be reading with the intention of those different categories. Now, if you're anything like me, I completely always forget those. So I always like to bring those up on the screen next to me. So this is already in your social studies folder. And so this can kind of give you that place to look at to be like, okay, this is why I'm reading, right? This is what I'm looking for. Now, I know that some students had kind of asked questions before where you have your side-by-side screen. So listen up. So this little box in a box guy, I'm going to move him right over here. And then I'm going to grab the corner until I see that double arrow. Once I have that double arrow, I can kind of move it in and out as you're noticing here. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to do that box in the box. I'm going to grab it up here, and then I'm going to move it. So then this way, it gives me a little bit of a better view to where I can constantly keep my intention of reading on one side and then what I'm actually reading on the other side. So perfect. Let's go ahead and read. Christopher Columbus was an Italian explorer. In 1492. He set sail for Asia, but instead he landed in the Caribbean islands. Columbus did not realize, but he had discovered the Americas by accident. Now I'm reading this and I'm thinking, I thought I was reading about the Vikings, and it is, I promise, it's coming. The Americas are the continents of the Western Hemisphere. They are North America and South America. North America includes Central America, the Caribbean islands, and Greenland. Europeans called them the New World. They had no idea the Americas even existed. So now I'm right here. The first Americas were the ancestors of Native Americans. They came thousands of years ago. Europeans arrived much later. By that time, the Native Americans were already living all over the Americas, but Europeans called it the New World. So again, I don't really feel like I'm getting any new information. Early European explorers, the Vikings, here we go. The Vikings were people from Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. Okay, so I remembered one of my questions over here was what country did they sail for? And boom, I figured it out. So I'm going to write Denmark, Sweden, Norway. Perfect. They were the first Europeans to land in the Americas in 982. Wow. So the reason why that started off with Christopher Columbus was he was thought to be the first European explorer to find the Americas, but he wasn't, right? In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and this was 982. Wow, so this was a lot quicker than what I had thought. So then where it said year explored, I'm going to type in 982. So perfect. So I'm already getting some of my information down. A Viking named Eric the Red began a colony in Greenland. Leif Erikson was the son of Eric the Red. He probably reached the coast of Canada. That is the evidence of the Viking villages near Leif's time. Keep scrolling down. It looks like there's some pictures. The Vikings moved south. They reached a warmer land filled with woods, wine, berries, or grapes grew there. They named this place Vinland, meaning wineland. Vinland might have been in Maryland or Virginia. So if I'm thinking maybe the reason why they explored was because they were looking for these berries. So I'm going to put that there. Okay. And they called them wine berries. And so if any of you are kind of putting two and two together, making wineland, so that's why they came over. The Age of Discovery. In the 1400s and 1500s, Europeans reached the Americas. The time period is called the Age of Discovery and the Age of Exploration. Europeans sailed around the globe. They explored Africa and sent ships to India and Asia. Okay, I'm thinking about my intentions for reading, and I don't think I have anything covered yet. The Age of Discovery had a huge effect on the world. Different parts of the world became connected to each other. Europeans conquered many places, built large empires in the Americas. They brought over diseases by accident. These diseases killed many Native Americans. Later, Europeans brought African slaves to work. They sent gold and silver from the Americas back to Europe. European countries came even richer. Okay. Oh, and there's some good pictures. Many crops came from the Americas, like potatoes, corn, and chocolate. These foods now feed the world. Europeans brought horses, cattle, and sheep to the Americas. So, impact it had, year exploration. I don't think I got that. Bigger ships that could handle the ocean were built. Because they were bigger, they were able to hold more cargo. Ships were now able to sail across the ocean. Europeans' discovery in astronomy is the science of the stars. During this time, printing happened. In the 1100s, magnetic compass came. But none of that was because the impact that the Vikings had, right? So let me keep reading. European explorers found the New World by mistake. They were looking for a sea route to Asia. Spices and silk came from Asia, and they were expensive in Europe. Ships could carry them more cheaply across. Okay, so now I've got this part here where I'm like, the reason for exploration, I was like, they're looking for berries. Maybe the impact that they had was they were looking for wineland. So I'm not quite convinced that I have that information yet. And remember, when we write notes, we don't have to write incomplete sentences. And if you remember, when I come back to my module, I still have some other places that I need to go looking. So let's head back to my module over the Vikings. And then I have this video. Now, here's the thing about the video to remember, and you might forget this. So in order to watch the video, it is through Discovery Ed. You can't just have it pulled up here. You have to log into the portal. So this is very important. So when I come here to the portal, I have to click on Discovery Education. And let me log in again. So I have to have Discovery Education logged in on one tab, meaning right here. And then on this other tab on Canvas, I can watch it. Okay. Now you can type it in here if you want. I'm just trying to save you a step. So on here, once I click Open Viking Explorers, once I click it now, again, because I'm logged in on my other tab, I'll be able to watch the video. Now, if you want to watch the video without having to click over, you can just type in Viking Explorers, for example. All right, so let's watch. So if you remember when I had put down here, what country did they sail for? Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. Those are the Scandinavian countries that they were talking about. I don't think I need to include that. I didn't need that information. Now here's something that you might not have caught. So if you listened carefully, she had given a different date, the year 1000. Now the year that I had written down here said 982. So this is where I was telling you about where some of the dates that they're going to give you is off. Either one works, right? So since the first one that I put down was 982, which rounded up is honestly 1000, I'm not going to worry about it, right? I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so that was the notes I'd already put down. Okay, so I always try to keep the videos pretty short. Now, I heard that same sentiment reiterated here about the whole like what impact did the exploration have? Well, it looked like they wanted to get grapes and wood or timber, if you noticed, for their longhouses that they lived in. So those are the notes that I've got down. So remember, I don't have to write incomplete sentences. That's not part of what we're working on here. And I just need to make sure that I include something about each of those parts. So if you notice some of the other stuff, I wasn't interested in, like why, what did they eat? I'm like, yeah, and then we're not interested in that with the explorers. Really, what we're honing in on is what year did they explore? Why did they want to even come over to a new land? What country did they sail for? So where were they from? And then what impact did it have? Okay. So that's the information that we are going to be working on. For your assignment today, you are going to be filling it out for Christopher Columbus. All right. So now that we've done the Vikings together, you're going to work on Christopher Columbus. So remember, everything is housed right in here under our modules. So now that we just looked at the Vikings, I can scroll down and you'll see here Christopher Columbus. So it looks like here there's one article to read, and then you've got 2 short video clips to watch as well. So whenever you're clicking on the video clips, again, remember, once you click on the video clips, you have to have Discovery Education logged in. Now, how do you log in? You go through the portal, okay? So be sure to let me know if you have any questions and feel free to ask. And I can't wait for you to learn more about these European explorers.